3, 2, 1. We're live.
Folks, welcome to another edition of the Stack Wit Nat Show. Boom!
Boom.
My man Smokestack. Stack, we got a special guest with us. Most people probably know him from the new started up Mr. National podcast. He goes by Paul Pate, but on our Mr. National show, he is P Double. P Double, welcome to the Stack Wit Nat Show, brother.
Hey, man, it's great to be here. It's great to be with you guys.
All
my stalking finally came to fruition.
Exactly. This has been a long time coming. You know what I mean? We've been trying to do this thing forever.
Yeah. Last time I talked to you guys, Ed was giving me the 3 levels of electric football. And
what are they?
Well, I don't know what the first 2 was, but the last one was all in, and that's where I'm at.
That's right.
That's where I'm at, Ed.
Exactly.
That's great. We were kind of chatting offline before you came on. He kind of gave me a 30-second elevator pitch where he really just came on board at the Buckeye Brawl and met some people. He played a game. Who'd you play again, Paul?
My first game was Monty Kendall.
Okay.
And,
I don't know personally, but I've heard the name.
Yeah. My first pass was an interception to his defender who was in the end zone. And he said, wow, that's never happened to me before. And I said, me either. That's my very first pass.
Jeez.
It happens. Coach say 2 things happen when you pass, and both of them are bad.
Right. Yeah. I think that was Bradshaw, wasn't it?
Right. He might have been one of them. But the last time we tried this Stack Wit Nat Show thing with P Double, the audio was really bad. We had a bad connection. I think me and Stack was in the pub, and it didn't go so well. But we have worked out the kinks. My boy Smokestack is always ready to go. P Double is Stack. This guy is pretty sharp. You know what I mean? He catches on pretty quick. You know what I mean? He's awesome.
I got a list of topics that we need to cover.
Well, you're the producer. You're the producer. You point us in the direction, and that's where we go.
Let him just highlight the topics, Corey, and let him talk.
Now,
he's moderator.
I'm gonna tell you about the first one, the Supreme Court, and just a little blurb so you guys can talk about it. From what I understand, our nation is about to change drastically. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow, I'm going to give you a little history on the Stack Wit Nat Show. Smokestack handles all world news, political, everything.
Right.
Mr. National watches 0 television.
All right. Let
me finish.
Okay.
He watches 0 news. So I'm going to lob that pass. That was a hockey pass from P Double to me. I'm going to shoot it over to Stack. And Stack, you're going to take the shot with this one, big guy.
All right. I'll tell you what I know. I agree with P Double. It's going to be a momentous change across the country. And there's 2 underlying issues that are really going to change. First, it's the makeup of the Supreme Court. And that's where this gentleman, I don't recall his name, but Trump just nominated him. And on paper, I mean, he's got 2 degrees from Yale. The 2 issues that are really in the forefront, Corey, is abortion. They're trying to overturn Roe versus Wade, which is the woman's right to have an abortion. And the second big topic, there's other things that are going to happen, too, over the next 10, 20 years, is something called ACA, and that has to do with the insurance provisions, the Obamacare provision that says the issues about pre-existing conditions. So those are the 2 big ones. But then you go further down the totem pole, there's things like affirmative action. And my stand very quickly on that is in the 60s and 70s, particularly in the Midwest, all the major colleges, it was hard for African Americans and Orientals and Hispanics to get into college, and now they're trying to overturn affirmative action. So in my mind, those are the three big issues. I'm not happy about it. I think that the Supreme Court is necessary, but I don't think it should be slanted one way or the other. That's my opinion. But those are the three main issues as I understand it. Is that pretty close to your understanding, Paul?
Yeah, man, that was really insightful and off the cuff. I'm impressed. Wow! Wow! Cheers, brother.
Cheers! I told you.
Wow!
Hey,
wow!
I don't keep him on this show just for his good looks. PW.
The judge, prospective judge, his last name starts with a K, I think.
Kavanaugh.
What is it?
Kavanaugh.
Yeah. I like him. I mean, I saw him speak with his wife and kids. He seems like a nice guy. He's very bright. But the problem I have, and I'll leave my politics from here, is that Trump, his social and sexual mores, I don't agree with his politics. And for him to try to promote, he's really just trying to fulfill a campaign promise, and that is abolish abortion, which I think is wrong. It's been the law of the land for the last 20, 30 years. I don't see anything pressing that should overturn it, nor do I see the big issue around immigration either, but I'll leave my politics alone from there. I just, really am not happy with the direction I see things going, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and we can move on with our lives.
Okay, speaking of moving on,
okay.
Does CR7 mean anything to you guys?
CR7. I don't know. I know CK7 is Colin Kaepernick, number 7, but no. CR7.
CR7 is Cristiano Ronaldo. You guys familiar?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he just signed with a new team. He's signing with a new club
in Italy.
Yes, I've heard that.
And well, I guess the topic here could be that you guys don't know what CR7 is. The rest of the world is nuts about soccer. Well, and they call it football. But we're nuts.
Right.
We're nuts about football, American football.
Exactly.
What do you guys? I guess I just want to throw that up as a topic.
Well, I do watch the World Cup. I haven't been able to catch many games this go around, but I'm very familiar with Ronaldo. He's him and Messi have been arguably the two best players of their generation. With Neymar, coming in the scene. Yeah. But Ronaldo is more flashy, I think, and he's got like the movie star good looks, and I like him. I mean, I'm from the flamboyant club my own self. It's been a few EF shows I have shown up with a fur coat and other odds and ends. So the flamboyant side of his game, I really adore. And he backs up all of it with great play. I mean, he got knocked out early in the World Cup, but that was big news. Him signing with the new club. I did hear that.
Okay. Interesting topic, Paul. Just in my mind, real quick on World Cup, on soccer itself, I think it reflects kind of the globalization of the world. I mean, we're getting smaller and smaller. We're realizing that a large part of the world is really into soccer or football, as you will. World Cup is a huge experience. They get huge crowds that get really excited. The whole cities, the whole countries get behind them. It's not so big here. We have the Philadelphia Union. That's the closest local thing we have going. But increasingly you see guys walking around with the soccer shirts. It's kind of like the Tour de France. I mean, interesting, but not really top of mind, you know,
Yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes. I like to watch it, but if the scoring would be akin to like lacrosse, if you watch college lacrosse, the scores are 15, 20 to 6. I like a little more scoring. If there was more scoring, I would probably watch it more. But very clearly, the athletes and the action, when you look at what's going on in the world and how fervent they are about that sport, that's what I like about it. But I think they just need to, you know, if they could adapt it more for the U.S. style. We want a little more action and strategy, maybe a little more scoring. I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah,
but,
I think I've heard. I mean, I've said that before too with soccer. Is the barrier to entry is the lack of scoring for for Americans.
Well, offsides. If they took away the offsides,
explain that damn rule.
You would get a lot more scoring. I mean, it can't be. I kind of understand. It can't be out in front of the ball. The ball has to go out first. You know, you can't leak out and cherry pick. But
right.
If they got away, they let that happen.
I think they actually. I read it on like Wikipedia or something. They've instituted the offsides rule back in like 1892 or something like that. So it's been a while. It's been the law of the land for quite some time now. So
well, if they edit, you know, tweak that a little bit and maybe widen the goal. You know, as far as make the goal bigger
right now, Corey.
Right, make it wider, taller, make it taller and wider. Increase the net. Then Stack would have his wish. He would have more scoring. But as far as just what those guys can do with that ball is amazing with just their feet. I mean, I watch basketball. You know, some know national. Actually, we put some couple videos up back when the national was playing ball and football. But I was a very, very good basketball player. What I had was called in the gym range. You know what I mean? Once I stepped in the gym, I was in range to make a shot. Okay, so I had some handle. So when I watch basketball, I mean, some of the stuff is amazing. I wasn't a high flyer, so some of the dunking and the jumping kind of like wows me. But as far as the dribbling and the shooting, I could do that. Okay, but when I watch soccer, I wasn't really into soccer. I didn't play it much. But the way they move the ball, they change directions with the ball is just utterly amazing to me. And that's why I watch. It was just where it was played. I think the time difference was a real problem for me. I rarely caught any of the games. So
yeah, it's like coming on like 2:00 tomorrow. Yeah.
Men and women World Cup. I watch both.
I think the World Cup's coming to the U.S. in like what 2026 or something,
yeah,
or
I think
2023,
something like that.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
I think it'll be in L.A. and hopefully they'll have some games in Philly too. So I think the 3 or 4 year lead up to the World Cup in the U.S. is going to be huge. We'll end up being good hosts, hopefully. So these are great topics, Paul.
Hey, okay.
This is going
to be an easy one. Big news out in L.A. Speaking of basketball.
I know where this is going.
Yeah. What do you think? LeBron, King James to the Lakers.
Well, I took Stack took the first one. I took the second one. Stack, I'll hand that one over to you again.
I really have no opinion. I think he's a great player, transcendent player. I don't think his being on the Lakers alone is enough to get them into the title. I think LeBron is towards the twilight of his career. He hasn't lost a step or any talent, but I was just kind of confused as to why Lakers. I would have liked to see him in Philly, because that would have been the last piece we need to win a NBA championship. But I'll defer to Corey. He knows a little more about NBA basketball, although I've been watching Summer League and I've been following a little bit more, given that the Sixers are trying to, well, they failed in getting LeBron. Now they're going after Kawhi. So I have kind of a partial interest, but I'm not going to debate, about LeBron himself.
National is up to the plate. He's digging in. He's got the bat. LeBron is, I don't know why the guy is so criticized. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time. Doesn't matter where he go. He could have went to Golden State. He could have went to Houston, which would have been easy shots at a title. Okay.
Right. I don't. Who do they got for him? He can't do it all by himself. We've seen that. I mean, he needs somebody.
No.
He doesn't need Scottie Pippen, but he needs somebody.
He needs some help. I mean, but the fact that he went to L.A. is showing me that he's not chasing a ring, which some people say he does. He's not chasing a ring going to L.A.
Right.
Maybe this move was more about his brand and moving on beyond basketball and his sons. Maybe he wants his sons to go to the West Coast schools, UCLA, USC.
Maybe it was about the weather.
Could have been the weather. The kid grew up in Ohio all his life. You know, he's been in Ohio. He went to Miami for a little bit. But I think Magic Johnson, this was just one maneuver. You know what I mean? He signed a few other players. I think he has, in the next, not this year, but next year, he's going to bring in another superstar type player to play along with LeBron. And I would say in a year or two, they will challenge Golden State and Houston Rockets for the Western Conference title. He's he needs help, like P Double has said. He needs some help. I mean, the year he had Kyrie Irving, that's when they beat Golden State. So I think what he wanted was he was looking to get away off the ball. He didn't want to dominate the ball as much. So with Alonzo Ball and other pieces they got, he wants to play a little bit off the ball more, and I like it. I mean, I was a little surprised. Like I said before, if he was chasing rings, he could have went to Golden State. He could have went to Houston. He could have went to Boston. Smokestack also said the Sixers was on the radar. The Sixers, I didn't really think he was serious about the Sixers. But that would have been a good fit for him too. That would have probably put the Sixers over the Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. But as it sits now, the East is open for the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Raptors. In the West, it still looks like Golden State and Houston. And Golden State, once LeBron signed with the Lakers, they won up that move and signed Boogie Cousins, one of the top centers, front court players in the league. So it's really like video games, what Golden State is putting together over there. It's ridiculous. Yeah. NBA might need to tweak their rule or something.
Yeah, they might just have to break up the monopoly, you know?
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Like Stack knows. Stack grew up in the 70s. Those guys just stayed with one team. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know if that was good. That was good or bad. I mean, good for the city.
Boston and LA back then, but
yeah, good for the city, good for the team, but maybe not so good for the player.
The concept is known in the last 4 or 5 years as a super team, and that is people. I think the one point we're missing here about LeBron is that the $33 million that he signed for was also a motivating factor. It's about money. It's about where he wants to play. I agree it's about his brand. But, in the last 3 or 4 years, you have particularly NBA franchises trying to build a super team. And you've seen it with Miami. You've seen it with Boston. I think Boston's on the verge of building a super team. Golden State certainly didn't stay dormant any offseason by signing Cousins. And, a lot of teams are looking to fill gaps. And sometimes one player, LeBron is 33 years old now, Corey?
If he's that old. I don't know if he's that old. He's
at least 32. He's only got about
He's played 15 years. He's played 15 years, and he got in the league when he was like 18 years old. So,
amazing.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Right? 15 years in the league, and he was 18 when he got in, right out of high school. So, do the math. Right. What that makes him? I don't know.
33.
33.
I think he's 32 or 33.
He's around there.
Like I said, I mean, you see players the guy from San Antonio that just traded, he's like 35, 36. You can play.
Oh, man, that hurt me. You talking about Tony Parker. Yeah.
They traded him?
Yeah.
Tony Parker. Yeah, he went to Charlotte.
Oh, that ain't even right.
I know, right? That's the part. I mean, I'm all for the player. I mean, it's a business. Everybody, as far as a team, it's a business. I saw with the 49ers. Everybody knows Stack plays with the Vikes. He is an Eagles fan. They know National bleeds red and gold, 49ers. But the 49ers did to Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott, and Jerry Rice, and even Joe Montana, guys that poured their heart, blood, sweat, and tears out. But when you get to a certain age, you got to make decisions. You got to make decisions for the team. So
it happens every career. It's Dorsett played for the Broncos. Emmitt Smith played for the Cardinals. Yeah.
Franco Harris played for the Seahawks. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
These guys wanted to play, but the team thought that they were too old and felt they didn't have no more use for them.
Yep.
So these guys switching teams and getting the money, go for the money. It's all about the money. You know what I mean? You in college and somebody's telling you you're gonna be a top 10 pick and that's millions of dollars, leave. You can go back.
That ain't about
it's no thinking about it. You know what I mean? Leave. Okay.
You can go back to school.
Absolutely. So it's about the money.
You can't get drafted to the NBA twice.
That's the way I feel about LeBron. I think he's one of the greats. I'm not a Cleveland fan. I'm not a LeBron fan. But game recognized game. And LeBron James is one of the all-time great talents to ever play any sport. And I'm happy. If he's happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? It's good for the league. It's good for the league, P Double.
All right. Well, I want to get into electric football.
Okay.
Well, that's what made us famous, P Double, electric football. Okay? Without electric football, I never meet Smokestack.
Really?
Without electric football, we don't start. Right, it's no P Double. We don't know P Double. Without electric football, we don't have the NFL. Without electric football, National maybe never gets on an airplane. Never gets the name National.
I want to know how you talk for an hour and a half about your history in electric football. You didn't even mention my name. When you and I actually,
folks
at the Philadelphia convention. We actually attended the Washington, D.C. convention together, and that's kind of when we got together, but that's neither here
People
nor there.
People are listening to the Mr. National podcast. Smokestack.
I thought he did an excellent job. He did an excellent job.
Stack is taking Stack is on our show taking a jab at me for not mentioning him and Mr.
Zero
National
mentions. Zero.
Well, I was bringing it up. You know what I mean? I was working it up. We had to lay groundwork for that podcast. I mean, we got to lay groundwork. We didn't have no special guests.
Okay.
But like I say, the foundation is electric football, and we branched out to the Stack Wit Nat Show, which is hugely, hugely successful. A lot of guys have tried, well, not tried, they are doing their own similar shows, and we want to wish them luck. Stack might have a couple issues with them, but National want to wish those guys luck.
Well, you call them spin-offs?
The little spin-off shows, the Gridiron, Antonio's got the Game Day Network. Everybody's got something.
They're trying.
They're trying. But it started right here with that man, Smokestack, and myself, Mr. National. Okay? And then it was like guys like P Double who appreciated it.
Right.
Because I tell you the truth now, I thought it was a little silly. Two guys in front of the camera just talking about the league and other EF. and we did it, and we taped it, and I was like, all right, we just had fun. You know, me and Stack don't need much, you know, any more reasons to have some drinks and smoke a cigar. You know what I mean?
No.
So,
Right.
so we just to put on the camera and talk to it was easy work for us. Okay,
It's easy, but it's natural. Who were Corey? Talk a little about 2 or 3 other super fans besides Paul here that we know. One is overseas. There's a couple people that are really, I'm not saying excited about our show, but have been partnered with us. Lucas was the big benefactor and helped us really set a stage.
Damon
videos
Lucas
with us.
Exactly. Let me get Damon Lucas, For You to Hate, took us to another level with his editing and production. You know what I mean? He saw what we was doing. He wanted to jump on board, and we got in on him. Electric Coach Mo Robinson interviewed us a couple times to do it. Darrell Bavard asked us to announce his brackets. Everybody, you know, reaches out here or there to it. I mean, it's like I said, I thought it was silly. Even our own Harold King watched it, and he said, "You guys did a good job." Will Travers, one of me and Stack will tell you, we go way, 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 way back with Will Travers, okay? And Will said, "Man, I saw you guys show. Keep doing what you're doing." Awesome. So from that point, I said, Stack, I mean, we got to do it, okay? We got to keep doing it. Now, Stack's job changed, and we don't get a chance to catch up with each other to meet up at the pub as much. But that's when P Double comes in. He says, "You know, I got a way we can keep this going."
Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah.
I mean, we keep it going. I've also started the Mr. National podcast. Of course, we're going to have Smokestack involved with that. But for right now, this is the Stack Wit Nat Show.
There's going to be the I'm not sure the brand of the title, but it's going to be a school. It's going to be education. Mr. Smokestack tells you how to get away with stuff. I'm not sure it's an online degree that you can get.
No, we cannot. We P Double. We are not releasing all our secrets. We let a little cat out of the bag with how to lie to your wife.
People will pay for that service.
No, we are not doing that public. Stack, don't even zip it, Stack.
No, I'm not gonna take that softball. But Corey, just one thing there was one person I want to make sure you mentioned that were huge followers of the Stack Wit Nat. It's a gentleman that is in the service. He's over in Germany, and he follows us.
Kit Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Oh, absolutely.
Big follower. He's always giving props.
Not just the Stack Wit Nat Show fan, but Kit is an electric football fan. He came up using a lot of the Philly NFL rules. He made his own rule system, which P Double actually uses.
I'm one of his disciples.
Absolutely.
TOEFL, right?
TOEFL.
We're actually having a tournament here in August.
Really? Absolutely.
Yeah, we're hosting a tournament. Hosting a tournament in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's a TOEFL tournament.
He's a very influential person.
Very passionate. Very passionate.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, P Double, what were your EF questions that you have for me, Mr. National? The fall, which for those who don't know, the face of the hobby, and my homeboy, my main man, he sits on my right side when we on the show, Mr. Smokestack. Let's talk some EF, P Double. Let's talk some EF.
Well, before we get to Dallas, which is probably the big news coming up, let me give you guys my little. I was going to do this on the Mr. National podcast, and we got cut off. But last year I was traveling for work, and I traveled from L.A. to back home on a Sunday. I had booked my flight, months before. I happened to be looking on the MFCA page, and the convention was happening in Dallas during my layover. So I'm in LA and I'm like, hey guys, can you leave the airport during a layover?
Yes,
And
you can.
yeah, you can. So
Yes.
when I got to Dallas, I got a shuttle over to the hotel where you guys were at. I walk into the well, first I think it was Will Travers was sitting in the lobby building like the uh, the blocking dummies. You know,
Uh huh.
blocking dummies. You know, he was building
Right.
little miniature
Right.
blocking
Right.
dummies. And I walked into the convention center, and there were fields lined up against the wall. Lynn Schmidt was standing there watching the game. Adrian Baxter was playing in the championship game. I had like 20 minutes, and
Right.
and your description of how you had like this breathtaking moment, that was mine. I walked in.
Right.
You know, there's a guy calling the game. They got the scoreboard and everything.
Yup.
It was
That was
unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And I think you were at the bar or something. I didn't even. I was looking forward to meeting you, and you were at the bar or something.
I was. That was like. Was that in Texas? That was
In
my
Dallas.
birthday weekend. My
Okay.
birthday. Right.
Oh,
Right.
birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was probably having drinks and partying it up.
Right. So, you know, after that, then I went to the Buckeye Brawl and played my games. But
And that's when we met. That's when we hooked up.
Yep, yep. So it was just incredible for me to have this is, you know, been part of my DNA since I was a little kid. You know, football and electric football. And so to walk into, I knew all this stuff was going on, but to walk in it and see it live was just surreal for me, you know. So now I find out, you know, as I dig into what's going on, there's leagues all across the nation.
Absolutely.
And they're incredible. And so I'm going to play in the league for the first time, play in a league for the first time in Ohio. And as I was telling you, Corey, or Mr. National, it's 24 coaches in the Ohio Valley.
Right.
Ohio
Frank.
Valley.
Yeah, Frank Jeffries. Yeah, all those guys. Yeah, right. I know those guys.
So that's going to start in August. So what else is going on around the Philly NAFL just ended with the Super Bowl.
Right. I came up a little short. I lost to the Colts. Smokestack joined the NAFL, which is the little smaller league. He came up a little short against Kareem. Kareem repeated as champion in NAFL. Creasy won his third title. Over as far as EF, in Philly, we have the IEFL guys playing their college season. So, another group of Philly coaches, most of them don't even play with us. They have their own rule set. They have their own weight class. Lorenzo Obranti and others play. He has actually downtown, Center City, maybe like the 20-something floor. They call it the penthouse. Is actually Lorenzo's work area. He uses the whole area. They have Maryland coaches that come up. Darren Germani, Brian Phillips. I want to talk about Brian Phillips. You know, he's
one of my favorite guys in this whole thing.
Yeah, he's very passionate. I mean, he gets on my I got two things on each shoulder, a bad one and a good one. The bad one is saying, grab Brian Phillips by his neck and choke him out. But then the good one is saying, you know, he's just trying to promote. You know what I mean? He's doing his thing. So Brian Phillips has his EC, East Coast Electric Football League going on. They have a big college league going on right now. And they're doing big things. Me and Smokestack's boy Cello out in the West Coast, LA. He has the California Electric Football League. They're just starting their playoffs. So that's winding down. As far as me and Smokestack are concerned with the Philly NFL, 2019, we will be back to 32 teams. And the NFL, and the NEFL will be about 10 to 12 coaches strong. So a very busy time in the city of brotherly love, and everybody's doing their thing. I mean, everybody's doing their thing, which is good. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, it's a rich hobby.
Absolutely,
what I can see being my short time in it. It's just so many levels of it, you know.
It's so many. I mean, you have the competitive aspect of it. You have the tweaking part. You have Norbert, who posts up on his Facebook account. I mean, all these shipments going out. You know, you have Jamie Harris, who's one of our coaches, with his base program. I'm like, yeah. I mean, how do these guys have all this time? It amazes me. Me and Smokestack, we just trying to go out and see feet. We trying to smoke cigars. You know what I mean? We say, to hell with tweaking bases. To hell with practicing your triple threat quarterback. Bring in the women and bring us the drink. That's what we're about. And you need that. Everybody has a niche in this hobby. That is what they need to find out. You know, everybody cannot be Adrian Baxter, okay? Everybody cannot be Jim Davis. Strive to be Stack Wit Nat.
Right. Find your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Corey likes to say about me, and it's true. What you think, I say. Okay? The things that I say, you wouldn't think about saying. And even on our show, sometimes, you know, it seems like we're fighting, but we're not. I mean, those are the things that I say, tell him in a text or in a phone call. Sometimes it gets heated on our show, but at the end of the day, when we get through the show, people want that. They want the truth.
They want the truth, right?
They want the truth. Right. They don't want it sugar-coated.
No,
you know,
exactly. And the truth, Stack, the truth is, we don't agree on everything. And Stack doesn't agree the way things go down, and he voices his opinion. And I'll snap back, and that's real television. You know what I mean? You want reality TV?
Like reality TV.
Watch the fucking Stack Wit Nat Show. That is reality TV.
The most fun we have on the show, aside from the drinks and all, where inhibitions are lowered, but when we're doing like a preseason ranking show, or we're in the middle of the season and somebody's not doing so well, we're talking about the top of the division and the things that we see. That's when we have the league. People tune in because they know that we're going to talk about them, and they want to hear it before.
Well, here's something I'm gonna bring out. P Double. I was you know, logging into the computer and my email account. I have known this sucker up there, you know what I mean, Stack Wit Nat, man on my side right here, since like 99 or 98, right? And all these emails, these back and forth emails, and you can hear or read the way he talks to me in these emails, I'm going to expose him. We used to have this website. We used to do the website. We were like, it was a combined website. He handled one half of it, and I handled the other half. And we also had what we called, it was called the shopping club. And we would post, it was a little spinoff from eBay. Because eBay, people were getting ripped off. You know, it wasn't all good. So buy from Stack Wit Nat, you know what I mean? Buy from Smokestack, buy from Mr. National. We had our own shopping club on our website.
Kind of pattern after the home shopping club.
Right. Stack would email me about stuff I put up, and he would say, you know, I'm jumping the gun. I'm going to post some of that stuff. I mean, it was hardcore. He tore into me, and I'll fire back. And then at the end of the day, it was like, oh, well, you know, whatever.
One of the best, most engaging websites years ago was when the MFCA first started. There were different variations of the website, but I remember one post that we put up, and it was fun things about EF, and we came up with about 20 or 30 things, and Corey touched on some of it in the show about the secret act of EF trading and how ruthless people could be. And I mean, this thread went on for, it must have had 50 or 60 posts, where people added their own definitions. What it was a list of definitions, and I started out with about 20, and people just added on. One of the ones interesting was cracking plastic. That has stuck from that article, and that's about, what, 10, 15 years ago, Corey?
That's where you coined that phrase?
That came from that article. Somebody,
really?
And it wasn't us. It was somebody came up with cracking plastic, and that has stayed.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Like I say, it goes back to 99. I mean, like I say, Stack was before me. I came in a little later and then met Stack, and then we kind of like clicked right away. You know what I mean? But Myron Evans, you know what I mean? When you want to say the seed, it was Myron Evans who was the genesis.
A little look behind the scenes at us. We're kind of known to be a little flashy and flamboyant when we go to these shows. We like to dress for dinner. If there's when Corey did Hall of Fame, we dress obviously, but we always dress up for dinner. And Corey's known. I remember we went to the Washington D.C. show. We had to get 2 carts just to bring our luggage and our boards up to the top floor. There's like 6 people in the lobby waiting. We call them groupies. And they said, "Why do you guys bring so many clothes?" We say, "Hey, our fans want to see us. You know what I mean? We change clothes. We take a shower like every 3 hours and change. We call it transition into the evening. And then by the time you get to the evening, we're like dressed in the nines, you know?
Yeah.
But we view these are events. When you go to an event, there's a lot of planning. We're not planning.
It's show business.
We're planning
show
business.
One of the first. So when I looked into the hobby, I met Ravenna Al. I don't know if Smokestack.
I know.
Remember?
Stack knows him. Yeah, Stack knows him.
So we went over a couple people, and I'm like, Mr. National. I mentioned Mr. National. Ravenna Al says, "Oh yeah, that guy changes his clothes all the time."
You guys got me choking. True story. That piece of info became such a aura about the tournament. Well, P-Double, I actually had to start packing extra stuff just to change. There was coaches actually counting how many times I changed. I mean, it became its own monster. I have never seen nothing like it. Okay, I would go to. I didn't notice it at first. I didn't notice it. First, I would just when I got there, I was traveling. I would take a shower, I would change, and then maybe we would go out, and then I would change again. So I never knew. I mean, Stack is what they call white collar worker. Okay, Stack is always used to dressing nice. Okay, National is a construction worker. Okay, folks, this is the Stack Wit Nat Show with our man P Double right now, host with the most, producer. But if you don't know, now you know. National is a construction worker, blue collar worker. I rarely get the chance to dress up, right? So I'm in overalls, I'm in a hard hat, I'm in a tie-back suit. So once I actually go to these events, these tournaments, I actually get to wear my clothes. Nice. So I brought them with me, and people started taking notice. So it was people actually in the lobby looking when me and Stack came and when I came to see how many suitcases I had. It was a few times where I packed so much stuff I had to pay extra at the airport because my luggage was too heavy. And I could have just not.
But you couldn't let people down.
I couldn't let people down. I couldn't let people down.
In contrast to that, and see, if you're going to be there all week, you get there Friday afternoon. I'm a clean freak. I'll bring more toiletries. I'll have a couple button-down shirts. I'll have jeans and khakis. But, I'm the kind of person that as you go into the evening, if there's a dinner affair, you've got to step it up a notch. You can wear jeans and a sport jacket. You don't have to wear a tie. But, yes. I mean, some guys will come to a tournament and they'll have a gym bag and that's all their clothes. That is a pair of jeans and 3 T-shirts, a toothbrush, and some toothpaste. I can't do it. That's not me. Right?
Right. Miggle, the Landsmans had the Miggle convention. It was always the Friday night dinner. And I made it a fact, if it was a Friday night dinner, as a dinner, you should jazz it up. And I was one of the, what's the word I'm looking for, Stack? One of the trailblazers of the idea of dressing up for the Friday night dinner. Okay? Formal. You ain't got to wear no tux. Another thing, the Hall of Fame. When MFCA started the Hall of Fame, it's an event. You should dress up. Me and Stack, the year that I went in, we had suits, we had ties, we had the whole nine. I had introduction music. You know what I mean? Make it an event.
Right.
Okay? Make it an event.
So speaking of that, when I'm going to Dallas, and so I'm getting there Friday, my plan is to go to I want to try to get a tour of the stadium because I've never
Absolutely. Got to do that.
No problem. That'll happen. That's easy.
Then is there a dinner?
I don't know
Friday
if
night?
they're doing a dinner. I don't know. I
I
got to
like
check.
that idea. I mean, you know, we should make it
the money is different. The dinners cost money. I don't know what the MFCA or what Wolf has involved. I'll have to talk to Weird Wolf. I mean, they call Mr. National the face of the hobby. Lynn Weird Wolf is like the heart of the hobby. I mean, that guy is a hard worker. He's plugged in all.
Look at the itinerary. If you see there's a dinner, it might be too late at this point, but usually the tickets are pre-sold. But if there's a way, look at the itinerary.
I don't think they're doing a dinner because I would have heard about it. I would have bought into it.
The way I view it, if you only have so much time there, you want to spend most of your time at the event. Right. So if you get to Dallas, you haven't been there before, on my list, I would say get some good Mexican, get some good craft beers, find a good steak, whether you're at the hotel or you go outside the hotel. That would be on my short list of things to do. But I'm not the kind of person that will go and eat fast food all day in the morning and the afternoon and maybe grab some fast food again for dinner. I like to sample the different cuisines from where I am, whether you're in Jacksonville, whether you're in South Bend, whether you're in Detroit. You can't just sit around and eat bad food all day, especially if you're playing. Right, that's the other thing. I could try to tell people when you're playing, you got to hydrate and eat right, and it all comes together.
P-Double is a Cowboys fan, so if you're in Texas, definitely.
My brother lives in Mesquite.
Definitely book the tour of the stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, you can go in the locker room.
They have the huge Walmart that's right next to the hotel. The stadium's crazy. It's almost like open all the time. But their pro shop is absolutely amazing. It's 2 levels. You could take a tour of the locker room all the way back there. It's like an hour long. They'll let you on the field. It's unbelievable. It's just great. I still have pictures when I was there. Yeah, I was there 2 years ago for an Eagles game.
If you're there, P-Double, we got to go out to dinner. We got to go to Papa Do's. That place is awesome.
Papa Do's?
Papa Do's, yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm in.
All right. We in.
It's put on the itinerary. We're going to put on the Stack
Wit Nat Show.
While we're at it, since I know National so well, I just want to make a quick point about his proclivity to speak in the third person. People wonder why he speaks in the third person. But his nickname, self-proclaimed nickname, National, comes, I think he explained where it came from, and the fourth, okay? But I've known him so long, there's actually 2 or 3 other nicknames. And growing up his neighborhood, I'm sure they call him Pookie or Junie or something like that. But I won't go back that far. But I've known him so long, those are like recent nicknames. He had nicknames before. There was one, the one that he first introduced to me was the Gamesman. And since I'm an avid reader and I read the book called The Gamesman, I kind of knew where it came from. And then from there, he transitioned to a couple other nicknames. But I thought that was pretty interesting. People always say, why does he always talk in the third person? And when you sit back and examine your answer, then that tells you a little bit about the psyche about Corey Johnson. He has a certain je ne sais quoi, if you will. a certain flair to him that you can't really put a label on it. So
my wife actually has noticed that too. She's asked me about that. Why does he talk about himself in the third person?
No way.
Yeah, I said he's Mr. National. You know,
even on the show sometimes he's talking about himself, but like he's talking to another person around the corner, and that's fine. We do it all the time. I mean,
that's crazy. I don't even. I might have to have psych evaluation. I don't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does that make you feel?
Well, now that you guys are talking about it, makes me feel kind of weird right now because I can't pinpoint the times that I've done that, and it's like.
All right. Well, and how do you write your own? Well, you've heard some people write their own obituary or their epitaph, or they write a novel about themselves,
right.
or their memoirs. But as a person that's alive, Corey's had a chance to write articles about the electric football scene, and sometimes about himself, whether it's Hall of Fame or him going to the Super Bowl recently. So when we put our pamphlet out, I was a little late. I was busy. Usually we do it like a week and a half. And I knew I was running behind, but I knew at some point he'd ask me to write some piece of it. But by the time I got to him, he had already written probably 2/3 of it. So when I read it, I was like, this is classic Corey. I mean, if you didn't know he wrote it, it could have been, Brent Musburger wrote the article. You wouldn't even know that he himself was writing about himself. And so not only was he talking in the third person, he was writing in the third person too. But it's great. We got to send you a PDF of it. If you look at the last 4 of our circulars for our Super Bowls, they're intense. I mean, there's so much information in these few pages that if you didn't know you were part of the Philly electric football season and happened to walk into that Super Bowl, you literally have everything you need. It's almost like buying a game day magazine at an NFL game to know everything you need to know about the game. And I like to think that over the last 4 or 5 years, even longer than that, our Super Bowls are an immense, huge affair. You really got to come into Philly for one of those.
Smokestack, this year,
I just missed it.
I just missed your game, and then I just missed the Philly Neffel game.
Yes. Yeah,
he was there.
He was in Philly that week.
You're kidding me.
No,
yeah.
I rolled in. While you were playing, this was such bad planning on my part. While you were playing, I rolled into Philly. And then the following Saturday morning, I left Philly.
Right.
as your game started.
The Super Bowl, as far as the food, the lecture coach coming videoing it, the Stack Wit Nat Show, the programs. I mean, a lot goes into it. I got to get off camera. We'll get P. Double's maybe email or address and mail him one of the programs so he can see exactly what Smokestack is talking about.
Kind of the hype leading up to the game. And if you know the characters, I mean, we have some really interesting characters. You know Joe Co? I think you would like Joe.
Yeah. I've seen his. I've never met him, but I've seen his.
He knows the name.
You know John Martin in Ohio? Have you met John?
I met him.
He's a great guy. Him and Frank will take care of you in that league, and so will. Is Mike Jones playing in that league?
I don't know if Mike's playing.
I'm not sure about Mike. I don't know.
You got Jeff Priest. You got Monty Kendall. You got Frank Jacobs. They got a lot of guys.
Those guys will take care of you. I guess Frank Johnson probably play too.
Take care of you. They'll take care of you. They'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I'm counting on it. Listen, when I went to Canton, I sat down for dinner. I didn't even realize I sat down for dinner with Frank Jacobs and Adrian Baxter. And
well, there you go. You can't get two better guys than that.
And I'm looking at Frank, and I go, Frank, I think you look like you played a little more than high school football. And Adrian Baxter says, you keep asking questions, you're going to find out who you're talking to. Frank says, no. This is the guy right here you need to find out, you need to ask questions about, is Adrian Baxter, Well, then later in the evening, I figured out who I'm sitting with. So it was pretty incredible. It was pretty awesome.
They're both iconic, great people in the hobby.
Right.
Down to earth, both of them.
That is a word, right?
Iconic. I mean, you can't even compare them to anyone. They're so. Frank has a heart of gold. Okay, I'll give you an example. I just to digress. There was somebody that was on the hard times that Frank knew, and Frank used to get these jerseys of NFL teams and old school jerseys, and he wanted to help this guy out, so he had a raffle, and raised money, and then gave the jerseys out to people who bought them, and gave this guy money. I mean, that's just a small sample set of what Frank does. He must have made probably 30 of these boxes. I heard you had one as well for people. He just if he knows you are really into the team and he likes you, he won't take money from them. It's got to be at least $50 in materials. He'll make it for you, and when you get it, you'll guard it like an heirloom. I still have mine.
Oh man, I want. He made one. He didn't make it for me. He made it. He wants to sell me one, and I want it so bad, but I can't.
I told you how to do it. You got to put on layaway.
Put on layaway.
Layaway plan.
Layaway plan.
Well, what I was going to do was
Corey got one of the first ones.
Yeah,
I came later. He completely surprised me with mine.
I wonder
he
if
did one for Martin. He's done quite a few of them.
He made this one. He made it. He didn't make it for me, but it's for me. You know what I mean?
He didn't make it for you, but it's for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was like destiny.
I wouldn't worry about it.
You gotta get it. You put it on layaway.
I've got a couple figures on my White Vikings team that I told him, that I liked his safeties. This was going back about 3 or 4 years, and he kept promising he would do them for me. And then one day he sent me probably like 8 of them. And I really wanted to split them between the light and the dark, and somehow the wires got mixed up, and they're all on my white team. But they're beautiful. I love them. Mm-hmm. They're my safeties, and I use them as loopers. I mean, the guy's just incredible. Got a heart of gold, and just a lot of fun.
And Baxter, you were sitting with. All he does is win. Baxter is a winner.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
So P Double, did you have any other EF questions, or did we cover Stack Wit Nat? This is the Stack Wit Nat Show.
Yeah.
It is a late Tuesday night, and we just sitting here talking politics. We've talked soccer, which is football. We talk LeBron, and we talk the game, the sport, the hobby, the toy that have brought all 3 of us together, electric football. This is Stack Wit Nat Show being produced by our boy P Double. Anything else on the docket, P Double?
Well, I'm looking forward to Dallas. I'm going. What's in store? In terms
of just a lot of fun. I mean, they do it up. I don't know if Tudor Games is going to be there this year.
I'm looking for odds-on favorite competition.
I gotta find out who exactly is coming, but always you got to put Adrian Baxter up there.
Well, the answer to the question of who is coming is you'll probably have 20 to 35 of the best players in the country. Anyone that would make that sojourn is there for a reason. And then underneath of that is that the winners of each TOC regional automatically make it into the, what is it, Corey, Final 8?
Final 8. Okay.
That's
so
what
they have a reason.
You got Jim
there.
Davis.
Right.
I don't think Ken Allen is coming. Ken will be up there. You got Jim Davis. You got Will Travers. We got Will Chalmers. You have Charles Lane. You have Rafiq. You have Adrian. Those names jump out to the forefront of guys that can actually win this thing.
Right.
Keith Chalmers, okay, can win this thing. So you're going to have the best of the best there, as me and Stack do. Everybody knows Top Gun, the best of the best, okay?
We send that video back to each other like once every 3 months.
Best of the best. So what you're looking for is a room full of the best coaches far as a competitive standpoint there, okay? You have the family aspect is Texas. It's going to be nice weather. It's going to be things to do. Mr. National, the Fourth will be there, looking to party it up. Okay? So, Paul, you will enjoy yourself. I'm going to make sure you do. But
really, a chance for you, it's like a barometer to see where you are. I mean, as you head into your league play, when you leave that tournament, no matter how you do, you might win 2 games, you might win none at all. But like Corey says, one thing, you're going to meet the greats, you're going to have fun, you're going to be on scene of one of the hotbeds, the hottest events in electric football for any given year is the TOC Tournament of Champions. Okay, the Super Bowl, the Big Daddy, and you'll meet
and the doctor will be there, Dr. Bob, who lives in Texas. It'll just be funny to see which one of his Porsches he brings to the tournament each day. That dude has a Porsche collection. Really? Dr. Bob. Wow. Awesome dude. Great dude. I can't wait to see my boy Wolf again. But
another icon. Great guy.
People always say, wait, what? You and Stack, you seem so different. What do you like about Stack? One thing on this chart is his trash talk ability.
Oh yeah,
is what I appreciate about Stack.
I've kind of
the ability. Hold on, let me finish. I'm gonna lob it to you. And his ability, his trash talk is off the charts, but his ability to take any situation and put a sexual spin on it is just phenomenal. Okay, he trash talks electric football, and if you didn't know, you would think you were looking at soft porn or something. This man is amazing the way he can spin his trash talk and take it to a sexual place. He's like a modern day Marvin Gaye Prince rolled into a Dick Buckus prom time package. So people say, the Stack Wit Nat Show, what is the trash? I'm like, this dude is nuts. He talks trash talk, and he makes it think like he's about to rape you, but in a good thing, in a good way. So,
I actually learned from, there's 3 or 4 people in the hobby that are probably more imposing and probably more vocal than I am. I mean, I like to talk when I'm playing. I like to have a good time, but I think when you get back to Stack Wit Nat, I'll admit some of our shows have not so much X-rated. We don't get into too many topics, but when we've been known to have quite a few drinks, and as the show gets going, people know when we've gone over the edge because they know what's coming out. It's going to be
one of my favorite things.
There's no filter.
One of my favorite little videos was the one where he puts, here's Smokestack teaching them how to lie to their wives, and that was so rich because there's I'm like, why is he telling them how to lie? Why are these guys listening? There was so much to that. That was so funny. And then another great moment too was, your show starts with like, here's the finger. He's here. Let me set the phone up here. Okay.
Yes, right.
and then Mr. National gets up to go to the bathroom or something, and so Smokestack's sitting there. And then I love your rants about electric football. Like, guys, get your guys. Don't hesitate. Come down. Join the league. Talk to your men. Get them fired up. These electric football rants. They were classic.
Right. They can be their own little separate section.
There's you can go to any tournament or any league game, and there's always the same commentary after the game. You'll see somebody and you'll ask them what happened, and they'll tell you the same story. I was working. I didn't run my men. I just based this team up. I don't know who's who.
My men didn't run right on that board.
Yeah.
That was another topic.
The board didn't run right.
Top excuses for
I
why you
my
lost.
Passes. Or I left my kicker at home, and this is not the ball that I play with. And but when you get at the end of the day, Paul, you look in the mirror at the hotel or when you get home, you own what happens to you when you play. When you think
You own it.
you own it. You know, that's why someone like Adrian Baxter, I've watched him for about 10, 15 years. And when you see him early in the tournament, you could tell just by his demeanor and his gaze and his gait, the way he walks, you'll see him. He's not eating junk food. He's relaxing in between games. He has his own room. He's eating fruit. He's reading the paper. He's going about his day like it's nothing. But he's there for a mission. And so I like to tell guys that want to aspire to be great like that when you're in that moment, when you're out there playing, everything that you brought that weekend, the culmination of it comes out on that table when you play. Your attitude, your persona, what you eat, what you drink that weekend. So when you look at someone like Corey and myself, you could tell we're not out to win a championship. We're out at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and doing the things that we do.
Look, before we let you go, this is the Stack Wit Nat Show with our boy P Double. The Super Bowl, NFL Super Bowl 20. Ben Creasy Daniels was practicing every day. Mr. National actually based his team up. He had to switch jerseys that day. You know what I mean?
Here we go.
Here we go.
I was more concerned with what outfit I would wear for the Super Bowl than I was how my team would play. And that's the problem. I don't know. I want to take shots at Jamie Harris, and I want to take shots at Joe Greco. Why did you guys lay down for me to get me into the Super Bowl? That was the worst thing you could have did. I had no chance of beating winning that game. I did zero practice, zero. That will tell you. I actually changed my team. I changed my team.
Probably the best I've seen him play in the last 5 or 6 years. I watched him over for a long time. He actually was opportunistic in those games. But when you get to the big stage, it's kind of like that fable. The emperor has no clothes. You get out there in the bright lights, and you're running around butt naked. Everyone can see how small of a man you are.
I had smoke. Hey, look, I had smoke. I had smoke and mirrors. I had smoke and mirrors for 3 quarters. I kept that game.
He did.
I kept everybody entertained for 3 quarters.
It was 6-6.
It was 6-6. It was 6-6. The last play of the third quarter, he scored a touchdown, got a 2-point conversion, make it 14-6. And then all the wheels fell off.
Right.
Cinderella, it turned into a pumpkin. It struck midnight. I lost focus.
Last shoe didn't fit anymore.
It didn't
kind of
fit.
like when you're in jail. You know what I mean? You can't hold your butt cheeks together that long. Eventually, somebody's going to get
right. All that water pounding, the dam is not going to hold up. It's going to get leaks. So Creasy kept pounding and pounding and pounding. And
eventually it broke loose. Yeah,
it broke loose. So
doesn't mean he's a bad player, but everybody can relate to it. That hey,
for 3 quarters I kept it
a good fight.
Listen, I kept it entertained. I did.
That's what it's all about, Paul. No matter who you play, you're going to go to Texas, and you're going to look across the table at someone like Barry Stevenson, and he'll bring out his little wagon with the horses and things that he'll do even before the game starts. The game can get lost. You just looking at it, all right? He'll be in his Oklahoma T-shirt. You think you're playing Barry Switzer, okay? This man is unbelievable, okay? Everyone in the hobby,
he'll quote every rule.
Stage, exactly. What you want to find is a lamb, somebody that's just going to lay down for you, that's just out there for kicks. You don't want to come in there with no gunsling.
Which is P-Double. P-Double's got to find the mirror image of himself. Somebody's just coming in and enjoying himself, and you get your win. You bust your nut. You bust your nut on that guy.
Right. Your wife asked,
hey, I've been practicing.
Your wife, how did it go, Paul? It went well. Did you win? I actually did. What was the score? It was like 17 to 3. He kind of tapped out at the end, and we ran out of time. But then the other side of the coin is, how did you do? And it was like, I got demolished, you know.
Right.
You know, I just don't have the base strength and the speed. These guys are incredible, you know.
Guys
but
are
you know,
setting up fast. They're setting up fast.
Oh man.
The thing is seeing the play ahead
Right.
of the play.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what
when you're
it
not
is.
playing, walk around the tables and observe, and just watch what the coaches are doing when their hands are not on the table, how they're, you know, getting their guys ready on the side. Watch how they think and what they do, and then try to mirror some of that when you're playing. That's all. It's and then you'll get your groove. It takes a little time, you know. It's like
This is the Stack Wit
Corey
Nat
said,
Show.
like-
A boy Smokestack dropping knowledge. Listen to this.
When
You
you-
know, here I got a couple of things occurred to me while we're talking on the show. One thing is, there's a Hall of Fame. We need an actual hall for electric football. You know what I mean? It could be just like
like a building. You need like a building.
Yeah, it could be just like it could be like a storage unit or something.
No, it's a virtual
Or
building.
Even a virtual hall. Maybe the site.
Well, they do have that. They do have that on the MFCA site.
Okay.
You can see all the pictures and stuff. I mean, they do have that.
I see where he's going. You know, it's it would be expensive. It's like asking the question, why don't we have a huge national sponsor? This is so great. I mean, Nissan did something with
the LA thing, right? The LA
Yeah.
out in California,
If
right?
we could find a huge sponsor, then you can do things like that, or you can get a kind of like you can get like an RV that goes around to all the
Right,
different
right.
things.
That'd be
Inside the RV could be the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's a
There's
good
a lot of
idea.
ways to do it, but at the common denominator is you need a lot of money.
Right.
And when guys are spending upwards of, you know,
I'm
1,500
spending all my money on that Dallas Cowboys box from Frank Jacobs.
That's going on layaway. You will get
You
one.
want that box?
Stack has a Vikings box. Mr. National has a 49ers box. You are part of the Stack Wit Nat Show. You invented the Mr. National podcast. We will get you that
What
Cowboy.
I was thinking was, I'm ready to buy that box if Frank will come.
You got the money. You got the money.
If Frank will come on the Mr. National podcast.
Well, that's a done deal. That
I
is a
have
done
a feeling that the box will come your way soon. Okay?
He's
Frank
getting
won't
that
take
box,
money
Stack.
for it. It's
He's
not
getting
about
that
the money.
box.
Yeah.
Because P Double has the money.
Yeah.
The guy is one of the most talented artists that I have ever seen, okay? He did the artwork for the Stack Wit Nat website.
I
The
saw that.
Stack Wit Nat Show website. He drew us dead on. I mean, he does other celebrities more often. I want more Stack Wit Nat Show
It's coming out.
sketches.
It's coming out.
He says coming. We're getting that box. That's going to be the gift from the Stack Wit Nat Show. That's it.
Here's the other thing is I was just talking to a guy at work who was telling me that he thought that Ric Flair did a pep talk for the Michigan Wolverines won a football game.
He used to do it for the Carolina Panthers.
Carolina
he used
Panthers.
to.
But
He used to. He was on the big
pep
screen.
talks for these conventions. You know what I mean? We need to get Ric Flair to come in and give a pep talk.
Well,
or
well,
at least
they
a
use-
smokestack rant.
Well, they use the Stack Wit Nat Show. We have been invited to many of tournaments. I mean, it's Stack don't get out as much. Stack, we gotta get you out more. We are always invited. We gotta get out, but we actually were together for the Clash, which was a classic time. We did live Stack Wit Nat shows. We actually have announced the brackets. So anytime I can get my boy out with us is always a fun time. Gonna be
now I'd like
cigars.
to see more frequent. I mean, my whole thing is I just want to see more frequent shows. So that's why
Right.
I started like, what do I got to do to get him on?
What?
Our season runs from
He's getting
February.
old. He's getting long in the tooth.
but we actually start preseason shows probably like December, January, and we talk about the new coaches
P-Double,
coming
tell
in.
him. Do we need to talk about the league? We
Right,
just
right.
need to get in front of
Look,
the camera. It don't matter. It don't matter.
When you watch back the thing that you said about the Supreme Court, all right, kind of downer topic to start off with. But when you watch that back, you're going to see we need more of that from Smokestack.
Oh, exactly. Corey hit on it a couple weeks ago with what we call public service announcements. So we're not.
Ooh, don't spoil the bag. That's
PSAs.
coming.
We're not going to take a side on anything. We'll just bring it up. You know what I mean? Like gun control. Mm-hmm. No one wants to get involved in that. Nobody wants to talk about politics so much. But, you know, look up EB5 and then listen to Trump talk about immigration. EB5 is what him and his family were involved in New York over the last 15 years, where any person with $500,000 could buy his way into this country. Mostly Chinese and some, Russians and so forth. That is the most egregious,
That's horrible.
That's horrible. And not only
themselves,
bring their family, everything else. And then to hear him talk about immigration, it makes me sick because he's two-faced. Look up EB5, immigration. They don't do it as much as they used to, but that was his way. That's how he got his wife in here, too, into this country.
Mail order. That's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Well, not so much that. But, I mean, I have no problem with her per se. But I have a problem with people trying to take something that's an issue, but he tries to make it act like it's the scourge of the earth. Immigration is not our biggest problem, okay? Our biggest problem is, the declining moral fiber of this country.
See, we need more of this. We need more of this.
All right, now that is the way we end the show, right?
That's how you end it.
Declining moral fiber.
That is the Stack Wit Nat Show. We are live on the P Double podcast. We are going to do a fist bump.
Boom.
Boom. The fist bump has been done. This is the Stack Wit Nat Show. We are out of here. Peace.
Good job. Thanks a lot, Paul.